In today's Farm Report, crop emergence is a question that University Extension gets quite often. And Dan Martins with the University of Minnesota Extension Service Office talks about those issues and about upcoming Breakfast on the Farms, including the one in Morrison County, which will be Saturday, June 20th.
A great family event for June Dairy Month is a visit to a dairy farm, so take note of the Stearns County Dairy Breakfast on the Farm at the Rowe Farm near Melrose on Saturday, June 6. Parking will be at the Melrose Area Public School, and a free shuttle bus will take you to the farm. There will be no parking at the farm. There is a talented group of dairy folks who planned this event, and you'll enjoy the adventure of bringing your family to the Stearns County Dairy Breakfast on the Farm. A similar event will be held in Todd County on June 13th and in Morrison County on June 20th. We've had some questions about corn and soybean emergence issues for a variety of reasons. When crops come up poorly, questions are raised about whether the remaining stand is good enough or whether replanting should be considered. The decision-making process basically looks at what is the potential yield of a reduced stand compared to the yield potential of replanting at a later date. For corn, a University of Minnesota reference shows that corn planted on June 4th could produce 77% of the potential yield compared to corn planted at a more normal date near the end of April. Another table shows in areas of Minnesota where a planting population target would be 36,000, if you have 16,000 plants left, you might still have a yield potential of 76% of a full stand. So from a yield standpoint, a remaining stand at 16,000 could do just as well as a field replanted on June 4th. Of course, we also need to consider the economics. We would have to consider the cost to replant. A seed corn company might offer a discount on seed for replanting. Crop insurance under some circumstances might pay for some replanting costs. You'll want to check to see how a later planting date affects your crop insurance coverage. Consider whether herbicides already applied affect what you do with replanting or precautions to follow. Livestock producers should consider how much of what kind of feeds are most useful on the farm. For different farms based on soil types and past experience, plant population targets could be different. Another table is based on the percent of original stand remaining. It shows that with 75% of the original stand, you still might get 90% of the original yield. At 50% of the stand, you might get 74% of the yield, and at 25% of the stand, you might get 43% of the yield. This, of course, depends on how the rest of the growing season goes and whether there are long gaps in the row or plant losses more scattered. For corn, it is generally thought that if 75% of the intended stand remains, it's more economical to keep the field as it is. Most farmers know from past experience that soybeans are a lot more flexible with yield related to plant population because soybeans are able to compensate by branching out more when the population is thinner. This concept is also part of how hail damage assessments are made, with hail, leaf loss, and structural damage to the plant is also considered. I'm Dan Martins with U of M Extension, and I do hope you're able to make it to one of the Dairy Breakfast on the Farm events.
The USDA's Commodity Credit Corporation is set to release its June lending rates. The current rate-based interest charge is 0.25%. Farm storage facility loans for 7-year loan terms at 1.75%. 10-year loan terms 1.875%, and 12-year loan terms at 2%.